phase 3. You may be aware that the district has an approved and adopted master plan for Santa Monica High School. It's called the Samohi Campus Plan, which is, I think, just a very clever name that we came up with. And phases 1 and 2 were initially going to be separate. It was a replacement for the old science and technology buildings. It'd be 2 buildings right next to each other with a pool. At one point we were looking at a pool potentially underneath one of them or beside, which is of course where we ended up. The board directed us to combine those 2 projects and do phases 1 and 2 together along with a slightly larger pool. So phases 1 and 2, it's a little confusing, phases 1 and 2 are going forward currently. We, in fact, probably almost certainly have seen that the science and tech buildings are down and there's the beginning of a big hole there. It'll get bigger next year, and then of course we'll start building a building there. Phase 3 is a replacement, is a new building that will include a library, classrooms, a house administration office, and replacement south gym. So we refer to it as the gold gym. I think because our architects are trying to tie things into school colors, so we have the gold gym going in, and eventually we'll build a blue gym. Phase 3 also involves demolition of this building, the cafeteria building, our old pool building, which will no longer be necessary since we'll have completed the new pool by the Discovery building. The south gym will be demolished in order to build the new gold gym, and then the history building demolition is also included in this phase. The other work that will be happening throughout the district will involve a lot of things at our elementary school campuses and middle school as well. But at the elementary schools, we'll be looking at completing the rest of the HVAC projects. So that will be bring air conditioning to all of our campuses. We'll also be looking at replacing portable buildings, because we've got a lot of portable buildings out there that were originally installed to be temporary buildings, and some of them are well past their useful life. So our plan is to replace those. At our middle schools, we'll do what we call our window paint and floor project, which is kind of a light modernization that we've done at most of our elementary schools. I think we're still working at, Franklin and McKinley, and then next year we'll do Washington West, and Smash Mural will be after that as well. So those are the projects that are planned right now. Like I said, I don't want to go through a long presentation. I'd rather respond to any questions you have, and whether it's about work that's ongoing or work that's planned. I'm really not here to advocate. My job here is to tell you what's happening rather than sell you on what's happening. So I'm open for questions.
If you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you. Awesome.
Hi, I'm Leslie, parent, and I heard that there were going to be preschools built at several of the elementary schools where there are already preschools existing. Can you elaborate on that?
So the district has a plan to create pathways that start at a preschool on the campus and continue students from preschool all the way through our system.
Would that be the seaside that's happening?
I was actually going to ask Carrie, this is the seaside?
Yeah.
So it is in essence creation of the seaside preschools, and in some cases that is on campuses where we do have existing preschools.
So the campuses that are already existing, they will be completely refurbished, or you'll be?
Generally what we've done, so we've done a few, in our window paint and floor projects, we've done a few of these where we've redone either just a standard classroom or an existing preschool. Usually it's the latter. And then that's turned into...
I work in them, I know.
Oh, where do you work?
I work right now in Adams.
Okay, so anyway, so our window paint and floor project is what we've been using to redo those spaces. And then, there's other campuses where I think, are we adding Carrie, any preschools where we don't have existing?
The plan is to, because we don't have them in all elementary schools. So the plan is to have preschools at all elementary schools. How we do that and the function and what happens to make that happen is still being developed.
So that would be Franklin, McKinley, Muir.
Roosevelt does not have one. the only
Roosevelt.
space I can see to actually put one. So, okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, so when was phase 3 adopted?
The entire Samohi campus plan was adopted at once, and it would have been in 2016. I don't have the date off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
And how far along is the
June.
sustainability plan? And will any of that be incorporated in what you're planning to do with phase 3 or other parts of the school district?
Sure, so we're focusing on sustainability on many of our projects. The district's internal goal, without regard to the sustainability plan, has been, you're familiar with CHIPS, the California High Performing Schools? Okay. So our goal has been, and our directive to our architects has been to achieve CHIPS plus 15%. That doesn't necessarily mean that we pursue CHIPS certification, but certification is a plaque on the wall. The benefit of it is earning all those points. In other words, the things that you do to earn those points to get CHIPS plus 15%. So that has been our path and will continue to be our path. We're also looking at bringing solar into there are separate solar projects going forward right now. We call them our Solar One projects. They are at Edison, Samohi, and Adams. Nailed it. And so those are moving forward now, where we're bringing in a fair amount of solar. So the innovation building was built ready for solar, but didn't include solar. That will be going forward now as part of our current project. When we build the Discovery Building, this phase 1 and 2 project, we'll have a bunch of solar on the roof there. And we're also looking at developing a phase 2, a solar 2 project, which would bring additional solar to other campuses.
Are there any more questions? Are there any more questions? Hi, Mom.
Yeah, so my question is, it actually just the little that you talked about doing already sounds like it's gonna cost a lot more than $489 million. And with that in mind, I wonder, is there no, like, priority list? I mean, it sounds like we're kind of writing a blank check and we don't, I mean, I agree that a lot needs to be done at Santa Monica High School, but are you gonna get to the high school before or after you do the preschools?
Sure, so I think it's a good question. The phase 3 project is estimated to be $150 to $155 million, including the demolition and everything. That is in this project, in this bond. So that will happen. We don't, how do I want to say this? The timeline on that project will be more closely related to when we finish the Discovery Building and we can free up some space than it will be to any of the work happening in other campuses. So the one master plan or campus plan that we have that is adopted is Samohi. That is going forward and it will happen in normal succession. The amount of work that needs to happen, including all of the phases of the Samohi campus plan, is well in excess of $485 million. The amount of work that I've described is probably close to $485 million. Your question though was, do we have a prioritized list of projects, right? I mean, that at its essence is what it
Yeah,
was.
I mean, if you can't even start the work on Samohi, how do we know that you're not gonna spend the $485 million on all the other projects?
Sure.
With overruns and everything else that happens,
And
when
then,
you get to Samohi?
and that does happen. Overruns do happen, and I'm guessing not a lot of you are in the construction industry, but the costs that we've seen on our projects recently have been astronomical, and it's not because they're designed as super expensive buildings. Costs across the construction industry are really escalating. So we have some concerns about that. There are ways to combat it. One of the ways to combat it is to build soon, because as it continues to escalate, the pot of money, the $485 million in this case, doesn't grow, but our costs that eat into it do grow. So we try to do our work as quickly as we can. It's a slow process in any public agency, and I don't want to say especially a school district, but certainly in a school district, it's a slow process. I can't say that there's a guarantee that this will happen, but I can tell you there's never been any discussion other than As soon as we're done with phases 1 and 2 at Samohi, phase 3 starts. So it's, you won't find it in the literature, but absolutely that is the plan.
I guess why wouldn't it be in the literature is another question to ask.
So I think this type of project is in there. We don't have an overall project list that is specific to the projects I've been talking about.
Well, I guess why is there no specific project list?
Well-
I just feel like for me as a person that would be paying for it, that would be useful
Sure.
information to have.
I understand that. And I think at times the district's priorities could change. I don't think in this particular case that we're looking at that, but the way districts put these together is typically with a generalized list of projects like we have, or types of projects like we have. And we're doing it consistent with that.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Well, point of clarification on that, I was just looking recently online, and Manhattan Beach passed their last 2 bonds with very specific project lists, as did Torrance, and Palos Verdes has just decided not to put their bond on the ballot this year because they couldn't get a specific enough list together. So I share that question of why we can't be specific enough. What are we doing with the $130 million that was just issued from the last bond last month?
So the most recent issuance is paying for the is paying for the work at the Discovery Building, as well as Malibu High School, the Malibu High School project that's going forward, as well as some of our other projects, like window pane and floor and HVAC. The Manhattan Beach one that you mentioned, they did have 2. One was specific for the gymnasium. The other was specific for various work at elementary schools. It wasn't as specific as a gymnasium project. So I think that's an important distinction as well.
But it could be used on preschool or admin or various things. that
Correct.
the board considers.
Right, it was restricted. I think
Are-
restricted is better than specific.
Yes. Are we using any current or future funds on a high school for SMASH, either at the Olympic facility or elsewhere?
At this point, I don't know of any plans to do that. It certainly is something that could happen, but I've never seen any plans or anything else that would indicate that that is a plan. Again, without a,
Article saying it's happening in 2019.
I did not see a newspaper article to see it was happening in 2019, but also it's not the type of thing I'd be focused on. There will be work at Smash Mirror. I don't know what it would take to turn Smash into a high school. Obviously, it's,
Olympic into a high school for SMASH.
so Olympic is a high school. And it will continue to be a high school, and if other students went there, it would still function as a high school. I don't know that bringing students there and calling it SMASH would really take any work. We do have work happening in Olympic. I don't think that was your question. We've done we've done a modernization project at Olympic, and we are just now starting. In fact, I think we just awarded a window pane floor project at Olympic, which will bring in some additional air conditioning and replace windows and some things that weren't part of the modernization project.
Hi. As a mom, a parent, and someone who works in the schools, like it sounds fantastic. Like I want all of this. But as a resident, I'm real hesitant to trust that our money is going to be used in the way that it should be used. Because basically, I lack a lot of trust in our city council and our city. I'm not going to get too specific, but I don't trust a lot of what's going on in the city. And so, it's a lot of money to put on residents, and there's no senior exemption as well. There's no exemptions, right?
Yes.
We have a lot of elderly that are barely hanging on here. And isn't there a better way to raise the money than taxing ourselves like that? Like, can't we add another tourism tax? Or get some money from the government? The city throws some more money in. It's a lot of money and a lot of trust. And I want all of it. It magically just appear, great. You know, I would love air conditioning at work. I'd have hot flashes all day.
So
Like, I'm so torn, you know, I want to trust and I want everything to be wonderful, but there are no exemptions for my 80-year-old mother, you know, and there are no lists of exactly what's happening and when. Like, are parents gonna be like at the Lincoln, gonna be against jams and go, we're auditorium before your whatever? You know, it's been 5 years, jams has not had an auditorium. And I heard that SMC, that money, 20 million was supposed to go to the building of the auditorium.
it is going to the building with auditorium right now. We're in DSA with the JAMS Auditorium Replacement Project. I'm sorry, DSA is our, sorry if I jump around with acronyms. DSA is the permitting agency that, the state permitting agency that we go to get our projects approved. So we don't go through a city building department, for example. So that project has been designed, it's in DSA for review, and Santa Monica College has committed $20 million to that project. So that's moving forward. I mean, you had heard it, it was correct. And as far as the rest of it, you mentioned something about the city council.
Well, it's like I really don't trust a lot of our elected officials.
Sure, no, I get that, and I think you know this, but just so everybody understands, the city council doesn't actually have control over the school district or.
They let a store get built
Thank you.
across the street instead of a field.
No, I understand. I'm just drawing a distinction between us as a district and
I know,
the
but it's
city
not
itself.
together.
Sure.
That's where I stand.
I'm sorry, I need to keep, yeah,
I can
we're